Roger Williams University is hosting a crisis management seminar on May 3rd at their Providence campus. Crises, whether a natural disaster, cyber attack, or financial instability, can have severe repercussions if not handled properly. This is where crisis management plays a pivotal role. Join Roger Williams MBA students and expert speakers to learn how to prepare for the unexpected. The program is totally free and open to the public. You can register online at rwu.edu/events/crisis-management-symposium.
This is the Bartholomew Town Podcast.
With the increasing legalization of cannabis across the country, including most recently Rhode Island, the cannabis industry is growing at a rapidly accelerating pace. If you are already in the industry or wondering what is the best path to break into the cannabis field, well, the University of Rhode Island has a program to help educate you in the evolving space. Fully accredited by URI's College of Pharmacy, the online certificate program covers topics related to product development, chemical analysis and testing, and patient and customer therapeutics. The next application deadline for the spring 2023 session is November 29th, and courses start January 10th. Join them at 2 upcoming info sessions and learn more at uri.edu/online/cannabis or give them a call at 401-874-5280. All right, so we are now just a week and 1 day away from Election Day here in Rhode Island. Of course, early voting already well underway. And we're going to continue our look at the bond questions today, wrapping up, so to speak, with question 1. And joining us is the wonderful president of the University of Rhode Island, Marc Parlange. Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me on this morning.
Absolutely. So question 1 is... some people are calling it the blue economy bond, the URI bond, however you want to form it. It's what it is. It's $100 million in bonds that would go towards improvements for the university's Narragansett Bay campus. Now, a lot of people know this from Bob Ballard and the oceanography aspect of things. But when we think about the blue economy in Rhode Island and trying to position or further position the state as a global leader in the blue economy, the super sector that the blue economy represents, the university is in many ways already at the forefront of this and has the opportunity to be even more so. I guess explain what the improvements are and why voters should vote yes on question 1.
Right. Well, just a little bit of background. Of course, we are Rhode Island's university. We're the flagship research university for the ocean state. And so obviously the Rhode Island's future is very much tied to the ocean. When we talk about the blue economy, it's really about the sustainable use of ocean resources. So offshore wind to coastal resilience to aquaculture. And so this bond is really about trying to advance the Narragansett Bay campus as really a central hub for a thriving blue economy in the state of Rhode Island. It's about being able to do world-class research, world-class education programs, attracting companies, being able to have startup companies. We want to be able to keep our graduates in the state of Rhode Island to build a thriving economy in the state of Rhode Island. And so this is so important about building up this sector. It's, as you can imagine, it's a very competitive sector up and down the East Coast. Lots of states would like to step up, but Rhode Island, we really want to step up. And we believe that at the University of Rhode Island, we can do this together with many partners in the state.
Certainly seeing New York State right now making big pushes to do so. We see Massachusetts obviously doing this. Of course, the wind turbines, offshore wind, is a major aspect of this. There's no question about it. Rhode Island has the first array of offshore wind turbines that were installed in the United States. But it's more than just the offshore wind aspect of things. When you talk about research, it includes smart bay. And that's a term that, you know, I've spent a lot of time on, and we've spent some time here on the show. But I guess for those that don't really understand or don't know what smart bay is, explain that and explain how the university can play into that thriving element of the blue economy.
Yeah, so often when you do experiments, you do them in laboratories and you do them in big tanks inside of buildings. And of course, that's part of the research and the education. So we can study breaking waves in great detail and looking at the impact of waves generated by hurricanes on the shore. But what's really important is that you're able to measure and observe and understand processes that are taking place at the scale that they occur. So the Narragansett Bay is a wonderful place to be able to instrument, to be able to model, and to be able for companies to be able to come and test sensors and really understand what's going on in terms of the dynamics of the tides, the wind, the seasons. And it's really the idea there of the Smart Bay is really an instrumented bay that includes models and so forth. And this will be important for advancing our understanding of coastal resilience, understanding what happens with climate change and sea level rise, and being able to protect our 420 miles of coastline. And of course, again, up and down the East Coast.
The blue economy can be framed as something that includes shipping. It can be framed to include seafood. There's so many aspects of it, even honestly, recreation and tourism. It's all tied into the blue economy. And when you think of it in that context, Rhode Island and the area known as Rhode Island now, but not always known as Rhode Island, has always been tied to the blue economy. So it's really not this new concept that was invented like 3 years ago. It's really just, to me anyway, it's kind of going back to our roots and maximizing our potential around what we're blessed with from an organic standpoint.
Exactly. I think the aspects that are important, of course, as you say, tourism is extremely important. Fisheries, how we manage our fisheries. But there are many, many other aspects. There's the business aspect. There's the shipping aspect. There's the navigation aspect. There's issues around supply chain. And then there's, of course, the environment. So thinking about questions around ornithology and how we position our turbines, how we actually put them in the ground. We don't want to destroy our fisheries, or we don't want to damage our underwater landscape. So all of these aspects are extremely important. And then, of course, there's the question about once you generate the electricity, bringing it to shore, how do we bring it in an optimal way to the mainland, so to speak? So all of these things are pieces that a leading research university like the University of Rhode Island can really help position the state in this way.
The state of Rhode Island, having grown up here and graduated from the university before taking off for a decade and finding my way back here somehow, that first period of my life here, it felt like we were oftentimes searching for that identity. We were searching for, all right, what is the industry or the thing that we will be known for besides just being the ocean state, from a generic standpoint. And it feels like with the blue economy, when we talk about economic development and we talk about something that is unique to Rhode Island that Massachusetts, Connecticut, Nebraska, whatever the case may be, it feels like we have a chance to have an economic development oriented identity. What role does the University of Rhode Island want to play in establishing the state at sort of the next level of understanding who we are as a state and what our greatest assets are in terms of, because you hear people complain all the time, and there's data to prove it, that, you grow up in Rhode Island. If you want to get involved in many sectors, you have to get out of here. Can the university and this project change that?
Okay, I think you've hit really a crucial point here. So the state of Rhode Island in the nation, our college graduates, more than half of our college graduates currently leave. They go to New York, they go to Massachusetts and California and New Jersey to have their careers and make their way in life. We want to change this. We want this to be a thriving hub where we're able to, create opportunities. We want to be able to create startups, but we also want to be able to attract partners that are going to create interesting jobs. And this is for everyone in the state. These are jobs for manufacturing and construction and business and planning, all the way to, those questions around, how do we keep oysters healthy? How do we develop our landscape properly? How do we, the 7,000 properties that are vulnerable right now in Rhode Island, how do we protect them better? How do we understand what will happen when hurricanes reach Rhode Island and what will be the impact? So there's really a special moment here where this could be an inflection point for the state of Rhode Island to really create jobs here, to actually attract people to come to Rhode Island to work. And as you say, really to keep our graduates here in the state, our Rhode Islanders coming back. I'm also a Rhode Islander. It took me 60 years to come back, not just a decade, but it's good to be back, of course.
In your time here in as president, in what is really just a short time in the grand scheme of things. I mean, our lifetimes are short time in the grand scheme of things, obviously, but the interaction between the university and the state in terms of governmental leaders, municipalities, whether it be South Kingstown, Narragansett, the state leadership in terms of the governor, so on and so forth. How would you frame that relationship, and what sort of areas of communication could be strengthened, if any, to sort of execute this vision that you've described?
It's amazingly positive from our state government, from the governor to the Senate president to the speaker. We've had wonderful relationships with all our representatives and senators, and also more at the local scale, as you point out, in South Kingston to North Kingston to surrounding communities. But more importantly, it's been this weekend I was up in Central Falls, talking to community leaders there at the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce or the Northern Chamber of Commerce, the Rotary clubs. People want to see Rhode Island move ahead. They realize that the University of Rhode Island plays such a crucial role as the engine for the state economy. So it's been remarkably positive. Everybody is always very cheerful. They're happy to talk about opportunities for their children. They want to see their community being able to, play a role and be part of this and benefit from this new blue economy that we're building here in the state.
Last question. This is something I've asked of the other bond proponents. People right now in all walks of life are struggling with cost of living. There's a major housing crisis here. We're seeing electric rates go up. The price of gas has receded a little bit, but we're facing inflation. Some people are concerned about a recession that may approach. So voters may say, hey, these things all sound great, but now is not the time. Perhaps the $100 million can come out of the tuition or something like that. What's your pitch in terms of return on investment for the state right here, and the average voter's position on, assessing making such an investment right now at a time where it seems like there's so much economic uncertainty?
Well, look, this is the time. We know that for every dollar that the state has invested in the university, we've returned $6.25 to the economy of the state. You cannot get a better investment than that. An investment in the University of Rhode Island is really an investment in the future of the state. And I'll have to just, if I can, my past experience when I was in Switzerland or in Western Canada or in Australia, as well as out in California, investments in the research flagship university really led to a transformation of the economy. And now when you look at Western Switzerland or Western Canada or, around the Melbourne region and certainly California, it's booming. It's diversification of jobs, opportunities, the opportunities for people to create the future. So this is just an important step. We can see that the future is actually going to be bright, and this is the opportunity. Yes, it's challenging times, we recognize it, but this is the time when we really need to invest in the state university for all Rhode Islanders.
Marc Parlange, president of the University of Rhode Island, thanks so much for your time, and go Rams.
Okay, thank you. Go Rams.
At HealthSource RI for Employers, we provide access to health insurance to more than 1,100 local businesses and nonprofits, and 96% of them renew through us every year. Maybe it's our choice of 19 different health plans, our 10 years of customizing solutions, or our one local team of dedicated experts helping employers find quality health insurance. See how our numbers stack up for you. Learn more at healthsourceri.com/employers.